All right, welcome to our third workshop. This is the product-focused workshop. Sorry you couldn't make it with us today, but we will help run you through what we have been working on to address the product side of things. So jumping right in, kind of the purpose of this workshop uh, is to focus on product improvement. And product improvement can incorporate a number of things from innovation, which you would think of as inventing new features or products, as well as simply improving the products that we already have. So why do we look at product improvement and innovation in particular? Uh, it's been studied for quite a while now uh, that companies that are able to innovate, that spend some portion of their budget on innovation, are able to see profits more than two times those of their competitors who aren't able to innovate. There's a lot of things that go into the ability to innovate besides just spending money, such as positioning your organization to capture the benefits of your innovation. But in general, it's good to point out that innovation generally does help your bottom line in the end. So what we're going to talk about today is reviewing the product improvement and innovation process, kind of give you some tips and some tools to use in your company. We're looking at comparing some of the ImDaddy features to some of the competitors that are out there. We have a couple product impressions to share. Um, and also there's some prompts kind of scattered throughout here in our presentation for some self-reflection and some self-work on your part as you're watching the video. So some of our initial ideas, just right off the bat here, we want to discuss using the open innovation model. You'll hear more about that in the presentation here. Looking at the potential of integrating artificial intelligence into how you work product support to help lighten the load on your product support team. And I think this one's supposed to be a separate bullet. We also noticed ImDaddy can improve on integrating third-party software and some of the digital marketing functions for your clients. Again, we'll see that again later. Product video tutorials, adding some of those is highly recommended as well. And then kind of a general observation that finding ways to be able to reduce the number of clicks required for navigating through the different ImDaddy menus for completing job tasks could be a potential improvement. So on the product improvement, this is the product improvement process. Many product development processes exist that you may hear about, especially in the software realm, like waterfall and agile. And so what you're seeing on the screen is just sort of a generic example of how somebody might move through product development. But where we're focusing in this workshop is on this first step. So innovation and screening. So what we're trying to do here and what we're going to run you through is assessing the needs of the customer. How do you go about brainstorming solutions and then selecting which solutions to move forward with to address those customer needs? So here's a good moment to kind of pause and think about some of these questions. What about in your company? How have you approached innovation or product development and improvement in the past? Have you noticed any things that work well, that don't work well, that you that you liked either in your own company or previous companies you've worked for. And when you're thinking about that, do you think of things that you could be improving or that you want to improve? And just in general, are you confident in the processes that you have being able to generate a competitive advantage through innovation? If you start innovating today, do you feel like you have the processes and the company culture in place to be able to capture the value? So if you want, you can take a moment to pause and think about it, or you can take it as kind of a thought homework for the future. So generate ideas, but for solving what problem? What are we generating ideas for? Ideas can come from all different areas. They can come from your customers externally. They can come internally from yourself or from the people working for you. But we need to be able to identify where our ideas are best focused. You can generate an infinite number of ideas, but what's going to give you that competitive advantage over the other competitors in your industry? So one way of doing this is using um, a model called outcome-driven innovation. And so the process we're showing you in this presentation is modeled after outcome-driven innovation. But the focus of it is to focus your innovation, focus your product development where your customers will find value in what you're developing. So you kind of have the nice typical Venn diagram there of overlapping. Uh, you have a large set of product improvement ideas. A whole bunch of things that you might think about to improve your product. You have the needs of the customer. What do they really need? The intersection of those two, uh, might get you maybe things that already exist in the market, but maybe your product doesn't have. Maybe you need to um, improvements you need to make in your product to stay competitive. So then you have the red bubble over there, market capability gaps, where customer needs and market capability gaps overlap. Those are unexploited areas. So that's where new products or new features could be implemented. Uh, and then just where market capability gaps and product improvement ideas overlap without customer needs, that's what I would say is where your opportunity is for true disruption. So think like Netflix or the iPhone, things where there was a giant market capability gap, but there was no real customer need because customers didn't know they needed it. Where you really want to be aiming for the most part, though, is where the three of those overlap, where there's a market gap for a customer need and you have ideas to solve it.
I think I had just one comment on that. So this model is especially useful for small startup or smaller size technology company like mDaddy, because it will better channel your resource, and then the outcome you try to achieve. Then you start put your resource into it instead of doing the, because you don't have a resource to do test and fail, but now you have a outcome to work towards. So this is a useful model.
Yes, I agree. All right. So when you think of innovation, what do you think of? So You can consider these 12 dimensions of innovation put forth by the MIT Business School. And I wanted to show this chart because this really shows you kind of the breadth of what can be subject to innovation. Everything can be improved in your business and be subject to innovation. We're focusing again on more of what is in your product, its features, the platform, how it's hosted, how your customers interact with it. But as you go down the list, you can see you have things like supply chain, branding, excuse me, how you structure your organization. Those are all things that you can always look at for improvement or for innovating to give you an advantage in your business. So these are the stages of ODI, and you'll see some terminology here. ODI helps focus on the best opportunities for product improvement. So, as Michael said, helping where you have limited resource, focus those resources in the right areas. So, step one is define your market around the job to be done. And so you'll see that term in the presentation, job to be done. You can think of as when you have a product and your customer has a need, what do they need that product to be doing? So I need MDaddy to be able to help with restaurant staffing scheduling. Okay, well, that's a job to be done, is scheduling your staff. Okay. So step two then goes into uncovering desired outcomes. So basically just what are your customer needs? There's probably a lot that we could talk about with identifying customer needs, but it's obviously always best if you have your customers involved in that. So if you have a couple key clients that are willing to give you feedback, that's very powerful. If not, having some of your frontline product support employees that are really close to those customers can help identify those customer needs. So then you quantify the outcomes that are unmet. Within this process, you can also discover hidden segments for opportunity that maybe you aren't considering. And then you formulate and deploy your strategy to go and execute and hopefully win more business from the innovation.
Yep. So here I can give some example for the ODI model. So the one example I have here is Amazon shopping experience. So first, we want to see what is the job to be done here is to make online shopping and the payment and the paying more conveniently. Then the desired outcome from the customer obviously will be faster and hassle-free shopping experience. So then it led to the innovation that led by Amazon engineers, where they want to achieve a one-click checkout option, and then personalize the recommendations and the intuitive user interface on the Amazon platform. So as you can see, you have Amazon and you have audiobook, all those products that are offered by Amazon. You share a similar user face, so it will be very familiar for all the users in our Amazon platform. All those new features aim at providing quick and fractionless shopping experience online and saving the time for the customers. Also, it will boost the sales of this online platform, because customers tend to think less in terms of payment, in terms of money they're spending when they just need to click the button to make the purchase. some screenshot from Amazon website topics for you every day, refreshing every day, every week, and they will also track your buying behavior and give you personalized recommendation. The next one is obviously Tesla. So they want to provide a environmental friendly commute solution. And then their desired outcome is to eliminate the fossil fuel vehicles and reduce the carbon footprint and improve the sustainability. What they're doing, first of all, everybody heard about Tesla cars, and they have a range of cars all the way from two-door sports supercars to trucks that they're try to push out of the production line. This align with the customer's experience, that expectation that they want to make contribution to the environment. Also, they want to drive something cool. And then also Tesla provided the supercharged infrastructure system across the whole nation, across the whole world. So driving only fully electrical vehicle across the country, across the world become possible, which trigger more customer to consider buying Tesla's cars. So it's closed the circle, and it's all the innovations that trying to achieve the desired outcome, which is to reduce the carbon footprint and make people realize the sustainability and the green environment for the society.
So thanks for the couple examples of how ODI has been implemented in a couple high-profile cases. So we've learned innovation is kind of best applied where it meets customer needs. But now we need to kind of figure out which needs are most valuable to solve for the customer. So this is also kind of an extract from the ODI model. So on the right-hand side, you'll see what's referred to as the opportunity landscape model, and I'll describe that here in a minute. But first, what we need is the input from the customers or internal experts like sales representatives to get an idea of what the jobs to be done are with our customers. And then we can evaluate with that input from the customers or internal experts, things like how important that job is to the customer and how satisfied with how that job is currently being performed, either by your software or a competitor's. The combination of the importance and the satisfaction gives what is called an opportunity score. And in this model, the higher the score means you generally have a better opportunity or a more valuable problem to solve for your customer. So in the opportunity landscape model on the right, you'll see 3 regions. You'll see underserved, which are areas where you have a higher opportunity score, which is mostly driven by the importance score. So these are generally things that your client is telling you are the most important jobs to be done and they're least satisfied with. As you get into more of the middle scores, they kind of call that appropriately served. That's not to say that there isn't opportunity there for you to keep improving your product, but that the customer may already be appropriately happy with what's provided. And this may be, they may be happy with what's provided by you or a competitor. So you still need to do the assessments with your competitor to see where you stand versus your competition. And now as you get into the overserved section, this is more, again, really where you would find opportunities for market disruption. So, just looking at, you know, product improvement, how do you improve MDaddy? This isn't really where you would be looking. This is where you would be looking if you're trying to create a brand new product to completely disrupt the industry. So this, again, this tool helps you find which jobs to be done to focus innovation. And then on the next slide, there's some other tools, and these can be used in combination or, depending on the product improvement that you're looking at, sometimes these can be used alone as well. But I'll just run through some of these, and you can, some of these you can look up further on your own, or you may already be familiar with. So most important requirements is exactly what it sounds like. You work with your customers and internal experts to determine, for a specific job to be done or a specific function or module of your product, what are their most important requirements? So, what is the ranking? It helps too if you have a weighting instead of just a first, second, third. So in this example I made up, we have table management, and maybe the client is the most important thing is that that module is reliable. Every single time they use it, there's not going to be any hangups in the software. And then maybe, yes, cost is always important to everybody. And maybe they would also like it to function on a mobile device that they use in the restaurant, but maybe it's not the most important feature. So it gives you, again, a sense of within a specific job to be done, what aspects maybe can you be improving or innovating on. So in this case, it would be you're looking at the reliability the most. Positioning maps. So this is a tie-in to marketing strategy and an opportunity I wanted to take to kind of reinforce that when we look at product and innovation development strategy, it's all tied in both with your business strategy that we looked at in the first session, as well as marketing. So they're all tied together. When you go and you look at a positioning map, you're going to see that is also based on the guidance that you're developing here and vice versa. So it's kind of an iterative loop where everything is involved. So same thing with strategic planning, the next item there. And I put this one there as a tool to know where to focus your improvements, because sometimes, especially as a small business owner, sometimes you may have a very clear vision of where you want to take your company, where you want to take your product. You may already have all the ideas in your head of what improvements you want to make and what innovations you want to have. And if that's the case for yourself as well, then that's excellent. But we still have these other tools that you can use as well. Value chain analysis is, again, it's another tool that you can use. Maybe you use it more in operations and supply chain realm. But the goal of value chain analysis is you work through your whole product development process from ideation all the way through delivery and support to your customer, and find the areas, again, where you can best focus your efforts. Open innovation, which we mentioned on our first ideas slide, is really about organizing your company to be open to accepting and taking advantage of product improvement and innovation. So it includes things like being able to measure what's called your organization's absorptive capacity, to gauge your readiness for things like external engagement. So one of the key things in open innovation is including external sources to help you innovate. And that can be including your customer in innovation. In the tech industry, it's included things as um, full public innovation. So opening up, for example, innovation challenges to the public where the public is actually going and competing and giving you your company ideas. There's pros and cons of that. There's a lot of kind of little issues that you have to work through in setting up your organization to take advantage of full external involvement. But this is something I would suggest you read up on a bit more. There's a lot of content out there you can read up on. I provided one source here that you can go and read. That's kind of a good overview, but maybe something for you to consider in terms of engaging with your clients more on product improvement. And again, you can take this as another opportunity to pause, think about what we've talked about so far, and kind of think of these prompts. So how have you approached determining your customers' needs as you've been developing your product so far? How have you aligned your ideas for your products and services with those customer needs? And think about, with what you've seen so far in our presentation, uh, how you might be inspired so far to think about prioritizing what problems you're going to solve for your clients. So now we get to move into what, for a lot of people, is the most fun thing, brainstorming, coming up with ideas. It's everybody's most favorite thing to come up with ideas, because you can come up with all kinds of wacky ideas. Um, and so this chart here is really to try to kind of open up to you all the different areas of generating ideas. So as I talked about, engaging external organizations, so different types of innovation, we have internal and external. Some companies are very close and guarded on how they approach innovation, where um, they don't want to involve, academia or clients at all. But this is, you can determine what works best. The who, again, some companies operate where, leadership is the ones developing the ideas. But I would advocate that it works best when you have perspectives from the entire organization, top to bottom. So you include your frontline employees who are engaging with your clients, as well as your higher level employees who have maybe a higher level strategic view. Similarly, for how some companies have a dedicated innovation group, like a research and development group, and maybe very siloed. But in general, again, innovation works best when you have a diversity of people involved who come from different functions in your organization, who can provide different opinions and different perspectives. And then a more recent uh, thing within all organizations is talking about, are you doing this synchronous or asynchronous? Are you doing it together in the same room or separate in different locations? And maybe you're doing it at the same time, or all coming up with ideas on your own and then emailing them to each other. Again, it typically works best when you have a blend of these, when you can have some amount of team collaboration where you're together in the same place, talking and bouncing ideas off each other at the same time, as well as giving people some time to go and think about things on their own time, while they're in the shower or on their drive home, and then come back together and share their ideas. And I just want to, again, kind of just plant some seeds in your mind for how to different ways you can use to spur innovation, spur the thought process in yourself and in your team. These are different things different organizations use, and some use, all of these or just one of them. You can have a Dropbox, an idea box. Let's say, this works well in office spaces, or if you set up a virtual Dropbox where people can submit their ideas. Uh, you can have, probably the most common one is events. People have brainstorming or innovation events where everybody gets in the same room. There's all kinds of different formal formats for these types of events, where usually the goal is to go into the event with just a problem statement and then come out with um, ideas that have been filtered and ranked and ready for further implementation. Uh, some companies have had success having idea competitions, either internally or sometimes externally through open innovation, where they put out a specific problem statement challenge and have people compete for coming up with the best idea. And usually there's some kind of incentive or prize there. Job shadowing. This works well, I'll say, maybe in more types of manufacturing type environments, where you can shadow employees that aren't your normal job function, and see what they're doing in their day-to-day work. And a lot of times that can spur ideas. You can have, on campus or off campus coffee hours, or social events where you're no longer in a formal work setting, and that sometimes opens up uh, the flow of ideas for people once they're outside of the formal and work environment. Expert solicitation, that can be again internal or external. You can engage, consultants or some other kind of advisors that can help advise you on uh, the job to be done that you're tackling and help you come up with ideas. You can also engage clients, customers, users in the form of focus groups. These are just, again, some tools you can use to help generate ideas. And of course, once you start generating ideas, once you usually open up those creative juices, you end up with a lot of ideas, probably more than you know what to do with. So now we have to begin the process of selecting which ideas to pursue. So this is again a generic kind of process flow, but kind of the high level steps are you need to go and figure out what your criteria are to go and evaluate your ideas. And then you need to weight the importance of those criteria. And so sometimes the things like we talked about before, the most important requirements, for example, you may already have those. Great if those weightings come from your customer. If not, as a team, you have to decide what the importance of those are. Then you go through and you can score your ideas, you can rank them. And then the ideas that float to the top, you can move forward into implementation planning, which can be, creating research and development plans, or alpha testing, or just going straight into the full product development, depending on what the idea is and the job to be done is. Now, if you really have a lot of ideas, you may have to kind of do some pre-filtering before you go and look at every single idea individually, trying to score it against a set of criteria. Uh, and again, you can use a combination of these. Starting at the top, A common thing to do is when you have a lot of ideas is to go and start grouping those and form out of those groupings, you form kind of a combined central idea that you can then rephrase what that idea is. And then that combined idea is then what you go and evaluate further. Another filtering method that can sometimes be used is executive selection. So you may have a high-level leader in your company who has a strategic view and has good product knowledge that can come in and look through the various different ideas and maybe kind of pre-filter them, remove some ideas that they know are just never gonna work, or also kind of add their vote to the ones that they think are the best, which also brings to the next filtering method, which is voting. If you're working in things like an event, your event team, or maybe a third party team of a couple people can come in and review your ideas or your groupings of ideas and rank them further by voting on which ones they think are the best. And kind of the combination of these should provide you with this set of ideas that you will move on to and rank as we show in the next slide. So this is, again, a tool that is commonly used. I've mostly always called it a solution selection matrix. I'm sure it has different names in different industries and different organizations. And different variations of this tool I've seen exist with all kinds of different statistical analyses built into it, for example. But this is a very simple version of the tool. A key thing here is to make sure you're focusing on one job to be done per evaluation, because things get really cloudy when you try to score things all in the same matrix that aren't even trying to solve the same problem. So high level, you put your ideas in the matrix, be descriptive. You have your criteria there in red. Underneath them, you'll see in gray those weightings. And kind of the way this works is the best value for that criteria gets the highest score. And then at the end, you have a total score, and the ideas with the highest score are ranked the best. It's also a good practice to include kind of go, no-go filters. So you can see I included one in here that just said meets minimum requirements, and this can be one thing, it can be multiple things. So an idea of what this might be something like, does this meet, is this within the threshold of what we can invest in? That might be one, for example. Or do we have the technical capabilities in our organization to pursue this? Those might be some filters. So if it's a no, it gets excluded. You can still score it if you want to. So you have the what if, what if we had that capability? You can see how it ranks. And now you're going to go and select your top idea or top couple ideas to move on for further evaluation, implementation, or full product development. And it's worth mentioning here too that in doing this process, you may find a couple ideas that maybe don't score as high. They don't meet the rankings. But maybe, in this example, maybe the development cost was really low. So you may consider that to be kind of low-hanging fruit and something that you just want to go do anyways. So this isn't a strict guideline where you can only do what's ranked number one, but it's a tool to help you, again, focus your efforts, focused your investment?
All right, thank you, Johan, for a detailed explanation on how team can, come up with an idea and also, sort the idea and select the idea and how, what the process and method to follow to work on ideas. So thank you for that. So now we are looking at mDaddy's products comparing to the competitors that we have in the market. Right now, this is a screenshot from mDaddy's website. Clearly, we can see there are a couple distinct function groups. One is operation, and then the subscription. Then then sort of customer reaching function, and then we have the other online business function or other solutions. One thing I want to pause for a couple minutes. Maybe you can think about that. Maybe have you ever conducted a customer survey to identify the order qualifier and a winner of all the functions within which the mDaddy can better design the price strategy and also custom for the product design. When I talk about the order qualifier, it is something that you need to have as a product provider in the market, right? It's like when we talk about car, the car needs to be drivable, so and it need to be safe, and that's the order qualifier for it to be in the market. It's an essential function, and then we're talking about the order winner, which is comparing to your competitors. What stand out? Why the customer choose you over all other competitors? So we suggest that you conduct a customer survey to sort of learn about these two distinct distinct options from the customer. The second one is that we comparing to the competitors that we have in the market, we do find that they are offering or they have very strong social media presence comparing to mDaddy, something we will detail later in the follow-on slides. The third one is that comparing to the major players in the market, mDaddy can improve on the integrating third-party softwares and digital marketing functions for the clients. I know there's a lot of options online that they can choose, maybe like email marketing provider and other e-marketing provider. But if we can integrate all those functions into mDaddy, then mDaddy can provide a better, more complete service package to the customer. So let's see first Blink. Blink is a well-known competitor for mDaddy. So I got the some screenshot from Blink's YouTube channel and their own website, where you can see they have a lot of videos on how to perform the task on Blink, and how there are a lot of know-hows by the experts and by the extensive users of Blink. So it cultivates some sort of sense of community within the customers, so that like when the customers sign up on Blink, they won't feel that they're alone on the island. They can talk to their peers, talk to their people who owns restaurants as well. So like it's something that once you are in the community, you don't want to leave anymore just for maybe lower price provided by other competitors. So it sort of create a sense of stickiness for the client to be with your product. Same thing for Square. Currently, Square doesn't have a strong presence in Saudi Arabia, but Square is very popular here in North America. It's one of the biggest, restaurant management software provider or small business software provider. So they have very strong presence in social media, in YouTube. I even get some, recommendation videos on YouTube from Square. So it's they're you can see that they're really investing a lot of money in providing the content in the social media platform. So when we talk about the function, the product that provided by our competitors like Square, you can see that they're having very strong focus on customers' growth and retention products. As you can see that they have all kinds of marketing and messaging and a royalty program functions provided to the customers, where small business customers can use only this platform to grow their customer base and to grow their business in general, and also that you can manage your email distribution list of the customers by just just log on this platform, and all those e-market products will be available to the customers. So it's just one-stop shop for the customer, and they don't want to use other platforms anymore. Toast is one of the hot software that in North America, I think they are backed by Silicon Valley. They are getting a lot of investment. So same idea that we are getting the restaurant management software. It is the order qualifier in the market. Everybody has that. But what differentiates these bigger competitors from the other smaller size of software is that they provide more third-party softwares. They provide more marketing products for small business to grow a little bit faster and to reach out to their clients a little bit easier. Just everything will be on their platform, and you don't need to diffuse the resource to other platform anymore. And also, as I mentioned, that third-party softwares, and also maybe in this case, Toast had their partnership with Google Map, where you can order directly through Google Map, and then the Toast will take the order and send it to the restaurant, and it's also way of showing the presence and the visibility of the restaurant on a Google Map. And they have their own generic delivery and takeout management product. So as a restaurant owner, I don't need to go on maybe DoorDash anymore. I can just manage all those takeout orders through Toast. So it's a lot of money saving for me and time saving for me. Right. So I mentioned about the e-mark. Just go back. Sorry. So I talked about a lot of email marketing and digital marketing tool. This is an example where you can manage the distribution list of customers' email through the Toast. So you can send the different retention emails to the existing customers, and then you can send reach out or cold emails to the new customers to just tell them, hey, like there's a promotion going on in my restaurant, do you want to try? For the retention customers, you can set up some birthday emails to the customer, so that they know that you care about them, and you reach out and provide some customized promotion plan to the customers, and it's very convenient. So I would like maybe mDaddy can try to see technically, or if it's possible to implement in your platform. It's something I think make the customer feel a little bit you know, personal, so that they will feel that something that can be worked on here. So the next one is the mDALL-E impression. Okay. So I think this one is talking about the delivery company, right, Johan? I think we don't have.
Yeah, so this one, this screenshot was just kind of showing I'll say maybe a visual abnormality in the software, so that when you have this delivery tab open, it's kind of blocking some of the it looks like the payment methods there. So this is just something noticed that maybe look at to possibly fix of when you have that tab open, it's not blocking the other looks like cash, card, Visa, etc.
Is it also like I see some of the pages are in Arabic and this one's in English? I don't know if it should be unified here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the market expertise of of the KSA to know what's typical. So this was one of our teammates noticed this kind of running through a couple scenarios of using the product. So I think in this scenario, they were asked, is this person part of the loyalty program? Or they tried to add them, and they get this screen that says, loyalty is not possible for a walk-in customer. And kind of what our idea was here is, maybe there could be a prompt here, such that if you have a walk-in customer who isn't part of the loyalty point program, you have a very simple button right here that just says, add customer to loyalty program, a setup account button or something like that would immediately take that restaurant employee to a pop-up screen or something to add that walk-in customer to the loyalty program, in a kind of a more convenient manner. Yeah, so kind of similarly, this is kind of I'll say a clicks reduction suggestion, linking loyalty redemption to specific products. Kind of maybe what's not said here, but one of the other observations was we have a certain number of loyalty points, right? So this says you have 5 loyalty points. And then there's in red, there's a conversion of number of points to currency. And it kind of requires the restaurant operator to kind of do the conversion themselves of, okay, they want to redeem some number of loyalty points. They want to tell the customer, hey, you can, redeem 5 loyalty points and get this item for free. They kind of have to figure out the conversion on the fly to kind of make those recommendations and communications with the customer. So you may want to consider, if this is the best way or if there's an improvement, so, just, one such idea could just be, do you want to keep using points, or do you want to just use currency? Or if there's points, is it points more in the background, and kind of what's presented to the restaurant employee is the currency equivalent of the number of points available, for example. Again, that's for you to go and work out and determine with your clients and your customers and on what might work best for them.
Yeah.
And this is a feature that could potentially be added that we think maybe your clients could like, to help them generate more sales revenue, is maybe incorporate some kind of screen pop-ups for the restaurant employee to help upsell things, right? So if you're clicking on a sandwich, maybe there's a pop-up screen for the employee to signal them to try to make the sale of, would you like a drink with that? And it's an easy button for them to just click yes, no. Again, it's a minor thing, but maybe your clients would like it.
Yeah, I think it's great that you can maybe just a reminder of what this client would like, ordering this. Maybe there's something else they can sort of cross sell. I think that's end of it.
Right, yeah, so those were just a couple impressions of running through a couple scenarios. That being said, none of our team are restaurant owners or operators, so we're not the client. We don't know exactly how all your current and potential customers want to use the software, and so that's kind of why it is really important to kind of get some client involvement, or at least involvement from your your product support and sales teams, to try to get the customer input on kind of the kinds of things that we're pointing out here. How are they using it in their current restaurant operations, and how do they want to be using it? And maybe that can help uncover more of these types of improvement suggestions.
Right, so we'll be sharing this recording to your site, and then you can just feel free to reach out if you have any question or comments on this presentation. And also we will definitely have another final presentation. So hopefully by then we can consider all your comments, and maybe we can respond to some of your questions over there. Any other suggestions from you, Johan?
No more comments from me. We look forward to hearing any feedback you have from this presentation.
All right. So thank you. Feel free to reach out.